Hello, you incredible friends. Welcome to our live stream with Steph Gabriel. How are you today, Steph Gabriel?
I'm good. How are you, Ed?
Very good. I just sat down for 5 minutes and I almost fell asleep. So I decided to get up and wake myself up. So I tell you what, we've got the sun out in Sydney, which we haven't seen in a long time, actually.
Yeah, I was just thinking that today. I was like, oh my God, the sun's coming out. This is a nice change.
There we go. So we had 2 weeks of straight rain. That was
Rain.
very, very depressing.
Yeah, it was. It was.
There you
But it's
go.
nice. I mean, we're getting blue, clear skies now. So hopefully it hangs around as well.
Totally. And we got clear skies and we're talking about selling and business networking. Now, Steph, what have been your recent lessons lately on sales and business networking for our wonderful fans out there?
So I don't think, I think you need to build a connection before trying
Mm.
to pitch a sale because I had the opposite happen this morning. I jumped on a
Tell us,
Zoom. Yeah.
tell us what the losers did to you. Oh, tell us everything.
So this morning, someone booked in a call with me. I'm like, okay, let's have a chat.
Yeah.
And the selling just started from the get go,
Wow.
right? And I was like, hold up, what is going on here? I was like,
Yeah.
and it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, my God, they're selling to me. They haven't even said, hi, how are you? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, this is really
Ah.
bizarre. I don't get a lot of this.
How did you handle? Did you just terminate the call? Did you go off and do something else? What was your response to this toxic person abusing you this morning?
Well, I guess after 10 minutes, they finally asked me who I am and what I do. So I thought
Wow.
I'd give them that 10 minutes. So I told them who I am and what I did. And then I
Mhm.
just said, look, I've got another meeting because they
Mhm.
came late as well to the meeting.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I've got another meeting now, but thank you very much for your time. All the best. And I'll see you on the socials and just called it a day
Yeah.
there.
And are you going to jump on LinkedIn and remove them as a connection as well?
Yes. Yes.
That's a spirit. That's a spirit. Now that's a great example of how not to sell,
Not to
right? We'll
sell.
start off with the analyzing the negative. And I suppose what did this person do? So this person sold to you without permission. They had no permission to sell to you and they just
That's
jumped on and hard selling you. So I guess it's a sense of massive entitlement they had, wasn't it?
Yeah, and look, I think it was a reminder, Ed, that if you're a stranger, that like
Mm,
'cause there was no trust there. I had never seen this
mm,
person before. I had never spoken to this person before.
yeah.
And there wasn't even chit chat to begin the call. So
Wow.
yeah, so I was just like, this is really off-putting, and it
Yeah.
reminded me that this is why, just randomly, trying to connect and sell to people doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the first thing. And this is why I think a lot of people screw up on selling is you only sell when you get permission to sell, right? And that's
Correct.
pretty much me. Like use our meetups as an example. When I was at running our Melbourne meetup on Friday, had there's about 80, 90 people there. And out of that came a few leads, people that walked up to me saying, hey, Ed, I'm interested in your program and workshops. And
Mhm.
they said, tell me all about it. Now, obviously, that is permission to sell. So I would sit there and say, I'd quickly tell them what it's all about. And I say, hey, what are you trying to do? And I do all that. And I think that's it. I think you should only sell to someone who's warm, that's interested in working with you. I'm the first to agree with you on that one, which brings me to the next question. How do you bring in warm leads and those warm conversations to sell to? What are some of your tips and tricks there, Steph?
People are going to roll their eyes here, Ed. Some people will, but it is
That's all
all
right.
about that know, like, and trust factor and connecting with people and,
Yeah.
you know, investing the time to get to know
Mm,
people and what their business is about and
mm,
how you could potentially be referral partners. It doesn't have to be them,
mm,
in particular. It could be like a referral partner thing. But everything takes time, right?
mhm.
Like Rome wasn't built in a day, as I
Yeah,
always say. And it's the same with relationships,
yeah,
not just business. You've got to build on that relationship
yeah.
before people will go, oh, you know what? I know someone that can help you with that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think so too. Like, I only talk to people about my business when I know they're legitimately interested. So if someone's not interested in my business or what I do, I don't tell them about it because why should? So I think where this person's also, besides them being rude and being quite toxic in behavior, right? Where they're just going wrong is they're just burning time. They're busy selling to people that are interested. They're not actually selling to people that are genuinely interested. So I think that's a
Correct.
good point. Hence, you got to create lots of content. You got to put yourself out there. You got to bring really, really good leads to you. And
And
I
this
think
was
that's the
the
key
other
thing.
thing, Ed. Can I just interrupt you for
Yeah,
one
of course.
second? This was the
Shoot.
other thing. So I did my research on this person and their business, and they were
Mhm.
posting once a week. So
Yeah,
I
wow.
just, and that speaks volumes to me. So I was
Yeah,
like, really? You're really barking up the wrong tree here, because if
yeah,
you looked at anything that I do, I think you'd
yeah,
quite quickly pick up, on the things you should be doing and
yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of crazy. Like they're posting once a week, right? Which doesn't do much. We know that, right?
No,
And the other thing is as well, they're just selling to people they haven't qualified. Like you were not
exactly.
a qualified lead in any stretch of the imagination, and they just went into sales mode. My other issue is that imagine how much time that they're burning, and imagine how toxic their job would be because people would just be pissed off at them all day. I'd imagine.
Exactly, without telling them, right? Because I was just
Yeah,
like, "You've lost," like, my wall went straight up as soon as the
yeah,
pitch started. I'm like, "If this is a pitch, like, game over. Like, the
yeah,
wall's up. You've lost me. I'm gonna entertain this for a very limited amount of time, and then
yeah,
I'm jumping off." So, and
yeah,
this person went to the trouble of booking a call with me, Ed. So I don't know if they're doing it in mass
yeah.
or what, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I had a very interesting one today. I had someone sell to me a little bit differently, where it actually wasn't too bad. Where they said to me, they actually rang me up and they sent me a connection request on LinkedIn, and they said to me, Ed, I actually want to get some feedback on this new app that I'm working on, right?
Okay.
And I replied back to him, and the app's okay, but they haven't got their point of difference bedded down yet, right? It's too me too right now was what my reaction to him. And then the person turned around and says, "Hey, can I come to you? Can I come visit you where you live to talk about the app and show you a few more things?" And because this person was quite respectful, I actually said yes to it. So we're catching up for half an hour on Thursday to
Mhm.
talk about their legendary app, and it felt good. And what I found interesting about this person is that even though they were selling to me, they were being very respectful and reasonable. They weren't just taking over. They weren't just bombarding me. They're saying, "Hey, Ed, can I run this by you? Hey, Ed, can I do that?" And I actually quite like their sales approach. I thought it
Okay.
was very legit. And I think you made a good point. Like when it comes to sales and business networking, you only sell to people if appropriate. And I think if we all do that, people selling are going to save a lot more time and really throw their conversion rate through the roof.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, there's no point of, I think you and I have talked about this before, Ed, that
Mm.
you want to go for the warm leads. You don't want to go for people that
Yeah,
have never even heard of you.
yeah.
And they're the people, that you want to just nurture that
Yeah.
relationship, because it will come naturally, right? At the end of
Yes.
the day, the sale will come naturally as long as you
Yeah.
nurture that relationship.
Yeah. And I suppose as well, you can speed up things. You can post more content. You can run free master classes. You can do heaps and heaps of things to speed up the leads. But yeah, I just find it amazing how people are just doing that whole just pitch to random strangers and see what happens. Very, very, very,
Correct.
very, very, very poor commercial business sense.
Yes, indeed, Ed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Now, I was going to ask you, in terms of bringing in leads, what are some of your favorite bits of content that has historically helped you attract leads and great clients?
I think the ones that resonate with people, Ed, and I think it's the
Hmm.
emotional attachment
Yeah,
that really brings in people that, want to you. And sometimes
yeah,
that's hard because we don't
yeah.
think of it from that perspective. Like, for example, I think about it like from an education perspective, because I think if people
Mm,
can relate to that, then, I'm onto something, because then they'll start watching and all of that. But I really do believe it's the genuine connection that you
yeah,
make through your content
yeah,
with people, or the connection you make in person, right?
yeah,
I think, and face to face networking is going to speed up that process of the know, like, trust factor, rather
yeah,
than over Zoom.
yeah,
Zoom's great, or, over micro, Teams or whatever you use.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, if you can be face to face, it's a
yeah,
completely different dynamic.
yeah. And I suppose I agree with you. However, is it always possible?
No, it's
No way.
not.
No
No.
way. Yeah, I agree with you. I think face to face is the best, but I'm finding that more and more these days, face to face is awesome, but it's not always possible. Sometimes it's just a phone call, or sometimes you even LinkedIn. Like this happens to me a lot. A lot of people will ask me about my business over LinkedIn voice message or even WhatsApp. I get a lot of that, believe it or not.
Okay.
So I hear you. However, my retort is I think it's awesome, but I'm finding it happens less and less these days. There are a lot, and I don't like it, but I'm just saying a lot more of it is online. But it's interesting, this guy who wants to show me his app, he actually says, I'll come visit you face to face. I was quite impressed with that, actually.
Look, I'm going to be a little bit. I like to play devil's
Yeah,
advocate
hey,
a
do it.
bit, right?
Yeah,
And I think something about that rings a red flag for me. And I
yeah.
could be completely wrong, but this is me
No, you're
playing.
probably not. You're probably correct, but continue. You're probably.
The fact
I'm
that he's
suspicious. I'm
yeah,
suspicious.
yeah. You see, the fact that he's willing to come to you, yes, it shows initiative, and
Yeah.
yes, it shows that he's moving in the right direction. But it also tells me that is he going to go? Is he going to try and sell to you when he sees you face to
Wow.
face?
Yeah. Well,
Or or
you
is he
don't know.
going to continue hold up, or is he going to
Yeah.
continue asking you for feedback because you've invited him into your inner circle, if you want to
Yeah.
call it. So you are putting a boundary by sending
Yeah.
him feedback, but are you inviting him into your inner circle by meeting face to face?
Well, yeah, it was interesting actually because he reached out to me. He booked into one of our meetups, which was great. And then he turned around and asked and just mentioned a few things on the phone. He asked me to check out a link to his app, and I gave him some feedback. And he goes, "Hey, Ed, by the way, I'd love to catch up with you face to face as well." And I
Mhm.
felt it was usually I felt it was okay because he seemed quite reasonable and respectful over the phone. Like when we spoke, he was quite reasonable and respectful. So I felt good about making that decision. But I did say though, he is coming to visit me. And I said, I've only got maximum half an hour.
Good.
So,
Okay.
so following the spirit of what you're saying, right, which I agree with, I've already poisoned the well in the respect that, I've got my losses in place. In other words, let's say I come in there and he starts hard selling me. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll be out of there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I reckon it's good 50-50 chance you're right. I reckon it's a total 50-50. But I did follow the spirit of what you're saying. I did follow the spirit of it. But I suppose what mitigated that is he was quite reasonable. He was quite reasonable and polite over the phone. So I thought, okay, this guy actually sounds legit.
Look, everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, but I can't
I'm not
help
sure
it.
about that. I don't think everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt.
Okay,
Um,
okay, not everyone, but do you know what I mean?
no,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
no, no,
obviously, if they've done the right thing initially, like this guy
yeah,
has done with
yeah,
you,
he
that's
did, he did,
okay. So that's where we're going to
yeah,
give him the benefit of the doubt by letting him
yeah,
come and meet up with you. However,
yeah.
just be
However,
mindful, Ed.
yeah. So I'm probably wrong. I'm probably totally wrong. But having said that, though, and this is the other side of the coin. I've had people in similar situations where I've been suspicious and then they turn into awesome clients.
Fair enough,
So,
right?
so that's
Deserve
the other side of it too. I got to be, if I'm too suspicious, I'll push away potential business because I've had people I'm suspicious of who turn into awesome clients that pay their invoices within the first 3 hours I send them.
okay. That's fair.
So,
That's fair.
yeah, but I suppose, but I agree with the spirit of what you're saying. I think spiritually what you're saying is awesome because I already said to this person, hey, I can squeeze you in for half an hour, no problem. So I'm already being very, very tight in the way I want to go about it.
And that's important because
Mm,
some people don't know their boundaries, like don't know how, like when too much is too much. And I've
yeah,
had, because I always say, Ed, I'm happy to help people. I think
yeah,
when you bite more than you can chew, it's
yeah,
like, this is complimentary. You don't sit there and bathe in it and keep pushing the
yeah,
time and everything else. You
yeah,
respect the fact that someone's
yeah,
willing to even have a chat with you. So
yeah.
there's that two sides of the coin, right? There's always two sides of the coin.
Yeah, so fascinating. I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's a coin toss. But then I'm happy to make it. It's only half an hour, whereas I've heard of people that will just meet someone and they'll spend 2 or 3 hours there. And I just shake my head when I hear stuff like that. They're not thinking about the value of time. So at the end of the day, if you blow a lot of time talking to the wrong person, you're not busy selling to the right people. It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
Correct. Yeah. And you've got to preserve your energy as well, right? Because
Yeah.
for the right people, you need energy. And I think that's something we
Yeah.
don't talk about enough. Because if you're
No.
selling or networking, it takes your energy. It takes a lot of
Yes.
energy. Even if you're an extrovert, you still have energy that you're putting out there. So it's important to know where not just your time, but your energy, where you're using that as well.
Oh my God. Steph, I've got to say, I love your work and love our live stream. We've crossed the 15 minutes line. To our fans across the world, like, share, comment, and say hello. Steph, before we finish up, please give us some closing thoughts and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I'm a business manager and mentor for service-based businesses. And I always look not just at the way you're running the way you're working on your business in order to grow your business, but I look at the business owner and what they do as well. So that comes back to your boundaries, your time management, all of those things that you put in place in order to drive your business. And if you don't have those right, then the business isn't going to go in the direction that you want. So I always look at the different foundations in business that can drive and grow your business, like the visibility, the networking, the sales. There's heaps of things, services, your branding, and all of that sort of thing. So when it comes to sales and networking, I think, giving people the benefit of the doubt is always a good start,
Yeah.
and be generous with your time, because I think as well, I think people will see that and they will appreciate that.
Yeah.
And when the time's right, it might not be you, but it might be someone they know that they will refer work to.
Oof.
That's it.
Well said. Thank you so much, Steph, and appreciate your vibes. And to all our friends across the world, like, repost, comment, connect with Steph and I. And Steph, thank you so much. Appreciate you
Thanks,
big
Ed.
time.
Have a great
Hey,
afternoon.
love your work, everyone. Bye, and keep up the
Later.
winning.